I I forgot to mention too. This guy. He wasn't the only one that's corrupt. Because I went to another place and they didn't know what the hell they were doing. To get my antifreeze changed. Because it was getting old. And I had mixed the green with the orange, which you're not supposed to corrode it. But this guy didn't know nothing, man. He said, "Oh, they make all kinds of colors now. The green is the new one. No, the orange is." I mean, he just knew nothing. I was like, had to teach. Was like teaching, but he let me work with him because it wasn't on the lift. It was outside in the backyard of the thing. So he couldn't really keep me from talking to him. In fact, I did some of the work, because he was working on another car and I was filling it up and stuff when the level sunk. But this other guy that I went to that told me that I needed a new radiator and the other thing, the power steering line. Yeah, well, I was in the driveway, trying to look in on see what they were doing in the car. And he says, "Please stay in the office. Will you please stay over there? Sit down. There's a chair there. Please sit down in the office if you would." Like that, kind of stern. If you would. you know. So they kept me in there so I couldn't see what they were doing. Watch out for some of these guys. Because I was watching one guy and he stuck a screwdriver in one of the drain plugs in the engine and it started gushing right out. He said, "Oh, I'm going to have to get you, yeah, I'm going to have to charge you. I'm going to have to put a new drain plug in there now." I said, "What would you stick your screwdriver in there for?" He said, "Oh, it was weak. It's really rusty. Well, I don't care if it's rusty, but if you stick the screwdriver in there, then it's going to leak. He charged me for that. He also charged me for a new thermostat I didn't need. In fact, it was a wrong thermostat, caused my van to overheat and ruined it, ruined the whole engine. That was in Portland. Oh man, in Portland they got some bad mechanics. What I'm talking about now is in Oklahoma. And this guy had me sit in the room. He didn't want me to see what they were doing. That's when he came out. "Oh, you need a new radiator." So what you do when they tell you what's wrong, tell them you want to see it. And watch them do the whole thing if you can from the very beginning, because they do a lot of damage sometimes to show you, "Oh, look at there, you got this kind of problem or that." Another thing they'll do, if you're really dumb, like if it's a woman that goes in there and she doesn't, she completely trusts these people, they will tell her they did work they didn't even do. They did something in New Jersey, a crime finding thing, which these people didn't even get in trouble for it. But they were found to say this guy went in there with a brand new uh, I don't know, filter and alternator, all these different things, and he said he had a problem with it, and they said they changed it, and they brought it back and they showed it. Nope, it's the same one. They didn't even change it. That's how corrupt they can be. So these guys are really filthy these days. The corruption is everywhere. The sickness and the corruption in the society is everywhere. And you see all this stuff going on about they're trying to accuse these politicians of having sex when they were younger. They had sex with the teenage girls and all this stuff. Do you know what's really going on? Watch a video of Bryce Taylor, who was a sex slave. They used her to spy on people. Women can get a lot out of a man when they're having sex with him, or that kind of relation. They used her for that, but they trained her from the time she was a young kid or a girl, and they do the same thing to her daughter. But when they get them that young, you see, they have all kinds of technology, mind control that they learned from the Nazis, which were brought over after World War II to help the intelligence network in the United States, and some to Russia. But yeah, in those concentration camps, they were experimenting on people for mind control. They can split personalities. There's lights and things they use, drugs they use to control a person. So they're like hypnotized. They're completely under the control of their handler. And you look at Bryce's testimony, because it's unbelievable. Bob Hope was her controller. Now these people, she said George Bush raped her little daughter, George Bush Sr. She talked about Sammy Davis Jr. All these people. It is so corrupt. It is unbelievable. These people are devil worshippers. And if you saw them as they were, they would look like worse than Charles Manson, you know. But they are clean cut and they wear nice suits and ties so that you would never guess that at nighttime they're going out to their satanic meetings. Now, this woman, Bryce Taylor, she said she was in a church, in the choir, and they'd be singing in the choir one moment, and she said she'd watch them bring all the film equipment down into the basement. And she knew that after that singing was done, they were all to go down into the basement because that's where they filmed all the pornography with the little girls and little boys, pedophilia pornography, and also snuff films, which they kill. She said that's where she helped and entice kids to get into this car. They would kidnap kids on the street in Ventura or in California. Entice them with candies or say, "Look, oh, we got a TV in our car. Would you like to see the TV?" And they would get the kids in there and steal them. And they would use them for porn films. That's how sick they are. And snuff films, which means they would kill these kids. They use them and then they kill them. And it's the people on top doing this. The government is full of pedophiles. Because that's when you get to the 33rd degree Mason, she was telling, that's when all this pedophilia and stuff is opened up to you. Because the lower degrees, see, they won't, if you're not digging the bad crap, they don't want you to advance much farther. But if you relish this garbage, oh, he goes right up. You go right up. Man. See, Satan really does rule this world. And the sickest people rule this world. And they do that because once they get you under that control, then you're compromised and then they have something to tattle on you about. If you open up your mouth, you're blackmailed. This stuff is unbelievable, and it's real, and it's everywhere. That's why they're trying to pervert the whole society, because they are already perverted, and they want everybody to join in their satanic perversion, because they are running from God. But He has them right on target, and they ain't gonna run, man. And they keep kicking me out of places. They kicked me out of Walmart tonight. Because I asked somebody what the name of the town was, and she stuck her nose up and totally ignored me. And I said, "Can you help me?" You know, they don't want to help. They can't do anything. And she went around, I guess, and complained to the manager and said, "This guy, the crazy-looking guy with the beard, screaming at the customers." And then I was told to leave, you know. And I told him, "Yeah, you know, guess what, man? I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. And you're going to have to settle this with Him, man." And then he got all upset, you know. "Oh, I'm not talking, I don't want to get into religious stuff, you know." It's amazing what's going on. They're all hypnotized, man. They're all walking around in a daze, in a robotic daze. They're all playing a part, you know. "Oh, smile, you know. Everything's fine." But if you stand up and speak the truth, you are the bad guy. It's all an act they're putting on. And nobody wants to even let out a peep. They won't even let out a peep of truth. It's all just a little game they're playing. A stage, man. They're not real. The only people that are real are the satanic actors. They're satanic ones, because they relish in it. They relish in all this garbage. Those satanic women, they relish putting men down and laughing at them and walking over grown men. They relish that. And if you speak out, man, they'll call the cops on you. So you better run, man, because they'll come after you. You can't live in this world as a Christian and not be persecuted. So you know when to leave, man. Just like Jesus got out of their midst, you know. Yeah. But you tell them the truth.